Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I always forget this. But Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello and welcome to Footy Judge Mo people. Listen, I just woke up about half an hour ago. So cut me some slack. Listen, people. Arsenal have been criticized all over the media yesterday. All over the media and this morning. Everyone is criticizing Arsenal somehow. Somehow people just forgot that Arsenal lost every single game since 2015 at the Etihad. People just forgot that. People just forgot that Pep Guardiola is the best manager in the world. And Man City have not lost at the Etihad since they played Brentford in 2022. People wanted Arsenal to open up so they can mock them if they lose at the Etihad and tell them you bottled it. But nobody wants to talk about all the Man City people that predicted a 3-1, a 4-1, a 3-0, a 2-0. Nobody wants to talk about that. My prediction was Man City 2-1, and Man City created one chance from a set piece for Nathan Ake. Arsenal created about 2 or 3 chances, but everybody wants to remember that Arteta, the explosive manager, the expansive football manager, created something new. Nobody wants to talk about Arteta being adaptable and Arteta doing something different. While everyone in the last 4 years was saying Arteta is very stubborn and he doesn't have a different style of play. But once he changes style of play, they say, why did you defend? Right? So that's for Arsenal. As for Manchester City, nobody wants to talk about some of the players that failed to deliver up top. Defensively, they were good. Rodri was okay, did his job. Some of them didn't. Also, Arsenal's front line literally bottled it because they could have won the game. But a point at the Etihad is not bad. Liverpool under the radar won against Brighton. Again, is the manager that most likely will be their manager next year, De Zerbi, who had a very good game against Jurgen Klopp. De Zerbi set up his team differently as well to show the world that I can also be defensive. I don't have to open up. He played everybody behind the ball. But it was an absolutely ridiculous day yesterday. It was a day that I couldn't understand the opinions of some people. And why are people just trying to mock others, trying to banter others without anybody looking at the situation objectively? But I have 3 of the most objective people. 2 and Tom Little. Right? It's exactly what it is. But if you are here now, we'll talk about the title race. We'll talk about the players that played yesterday. So you like the video now. Let's get to 100 likes right away. Because my target in every video, I told you to get 300 to 400 likes live. And if you're watching this on the replay, stop what you're doing now. Pause the video and hit the like button underneath your live chat. It looks like thumbs up. It's simple. It doesn't cost you a penny. But it helps the channel massively. Apologies, I just woke up. So I didn't read any news. I don't know what happened while I was asleep. I'm just here to talk about the game. But I'm here with 3 fantastic and great guests. This is one of your favorite shows of the week. And also we added Rory to make it even better for you.
Yay.
Make it even better. Get your super chats in. Of course, support the channel because super chats creates arguments. When you get super chats, we'll read them all in one section. And if you want to interject the conversation, you can send a super chat related to what we're saying right now. But otherwise, we'll read the super chats all in one section and we'll respond to every single one of them. First of all, how is everybody feeling? I know Tom is buzzing that Alonso is Tom probably is the only guy that is buzzing that Alonso rejected Liverpool, the only one in the world. But also he's buzzing that he's top of the league and he's favorite now because Tom can come with chest and saying that we are favorites to win this title. Tom, how are you doing?
I'm good, mate. I won at everything over this weekend. I won at everything. The manager, the football match, the Zerbi getting battered with a horrendous setup. I just won at everything. It was just perfect. Down to the last minute detail, everything. Which means that midweek, when we play Sheffield United, something's going to go wrong.
Oh my goodness. Come on, stop it now. How are you, Nobbins? How's everything?
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you. Was at the Etihad yesterday. What wasn't the most interesting game, as I'm sure we'll get on to.
You need your money back. I'm sorry.
Pardon?
You need your money back.
Well. Sadly, I'm all paid up for my season ticket, so that's not a thing. But yeah, I'm sure we'll get into the game. I didn't think it was an interesting game either. I'm not someone who loves tactics. I didn't really think it was that an interesting tactical game either, to be fair.
It was just a bit crap, weren't it? It was just a bit crap.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. But I think that if people try to say, "Oh, it's a brilliant tactical masterclass," I'm normally one of those people, but I couldn't even see the interesting tactics in that game. I just thought it was a bad game.
Rory, how are you?
Yeah, I'm quite good. I'm just a bit like you. I'm just a bit baffled at the narratives and the conversations that are going around. I didn't think I'd have to come out and so strongly defend getting a draw at the Etihad and keeping a clean sheet as if it's a bad result. I'm surprised at the content I'm having to make around it because it's all a bit baffling.
It was a shit game, to be honest, in terms of chances.
It was a bad game, yeah.
But
It
listen,
was a great result. Arsenal couldn't be much happy with that result.
all
But
right then.
I dedicated my Sunday. We beat Brighton. I was waiting for the top of the table title clash. Exciting game on Easter Sunday. And I watched Jesus dance around at the edge of the box. That was a little bit exciting. Beyond that, I didn't really see anything else. I mean, I can't even remember what was on afterwards, but that was insane. It was a dull game. Obviously, if you're a fan of either club, you probably the result means more. I just watched them. I was like, oh, this game is horrendous. If this is the standard for what people think is top level games, I don't want to watch what football is going to be.
Hold on, but can you look at it from the other
horrendous.
side? Is that tactical and why we look at Conte or Mourinho sometimes or these people as, oh my God, this was tactical? It's Pep Guardiola. Ruined the football again.
Mo,
Ruined
I don't want to
view of football
Mo,
again.
No, I don't want.
You ruined our view of football.
For the people who sit there and go, I should enjoy the tactical side of things. I don't want to sit there on a Sunday and have to have a UEFA B license to understand to enjoy a football match. I don't want to. If that's what the case is, I'll do 2 years of learning. But I don't want to sit there on a Sunday with a pint in hand going, oh, well, if you look at the way that the overloads in the half spaces are, there's an opportunity. No, it was just a bit of a dull game. Both teams, I think the tactics were okay. I don't think it was this tactical masterclass. It was more just mistakes and a lack of clinicalness. Both teams didn't stop each other because no one had a good game. Arsenal, more often than not, stopped Arsenal. And City, more often than not, stopped City. The defenders had good games because no one conceded. And there was a lot of poor decisions made in the final third. That's all it was. It wasn't this... I certainly don't think it's going to be one of them games which people look back on in 5 years' time and go, well, when you look at the tactical setup, it was such an interesting battle, because it wasn't. I think the game at the Emirates was a better tactical battle because you saw changes mid-game and stuff. Yesterday was just two teams that couldn't afford to lose, and they both knew that. So they just went, we'll set up, and if we hit them on the counter and we score, but we're just going to try and make sure we don't get countered, sort of thing. And it just led to
I disagree with you completely
game.
in this. When you see Ben White, the highest guy on the pitch for Arsenal, you know that there was a plan going forward. The plan is to bypass the press and get your fullback side. When you see Kivior supporting on the left side, I thought that was tactical. When you see Man City having no spaces, apart from Gavardiol, who isn't fantastic in crossing, right? You know that Arteta said that, yeah, you can afford to leave Gavardiol a little bit of space because he's not going to cross, even though he kind of surprised a lot of people, but that was tactical. But on the other side, he didn't leave any spaces for that right side, right? Who had Bernardo, Kevin De Bruyne leans to that side. I thought that was good from Arteta. Pep Guardiola tried. That's why he moved Foden inside a little bit. You know, he made some changes and it didn't work. I thought, actually, Arteta going forward, the players let him down. The likes of Saka, the likes of Odegaard, the likes of Havertz and Jesus let him down because they bypassed the press. They did against Pep Guardiola what the majority of the teams in the history of the sport do, which is you defend deep and then you try to bypass City's press. It's not only counterattacks. People think that it's only counterattack. It's what you call this day and age transition-based football. For me, it was just you have the quality to bypass the press. The problem is the final pass or the final decision was absolutely atrocious from Arsenal. That's what it is. As for Manchester City, I'm not going to say they failed. The problem is there was a better team defensively in front of them than the majority of the teams they played this season. So they were able to stop them from scoring at the Etihad for the first time in about 60 games or 58 games or something like this. So that proves that Arteta changed. Arteta's learning. Last year, the guy opened up. The guy played the high line. He opened up and then he got mocked after the game. People make
no,
fun, and I think
like I said, it's a
and I
good
want to say
result.
something about Man City fans. To be honest, some of the Man City fans, especially the young ones, think that football is only Pep Guardiola's way. This is what football is nowadays. It's entitlement. I watched coaches at Inter that is very expensive. We had R9 back in the days. We had Djorkaeff, we had Roberto Baggio, Zamorano, and we had Mourinho and Conte, and we had Spalletti at sometimes, right? So I lived it. The problem is some Man City fans, and I'm not saying Nobbins, think that football, the team that set up defensively, oh, that's a bad football. You're ruining football. Well, sometimes you'll have to do that against arguably the best expensive coach in the history of the sport. Otherwise, you'll get punished. I don't get this notion. I'm not sure about Nobbins' like idea about what I said. Like, what is your opinion about what I said? People think that Arsenal should have opened up, and they are blaming them for having a boring game.
Well, I suppose if one team sets out to primarily defend and the other doesn't, if we're having an argument of whose fault is it that it's a boring game, then surely it's the team that sets up to defend. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but if we're talking about who's the main factor in that, surely it's the team that have set out to defend. That would be my conclusion on that. I think Arsenal can play however they want. I don't agree with. I've personally not really seen it on my Twitter, but I guess I've not really looked at Twitter. I've tweeted more than I've looked at other people's tweets, so I don't know what other people are saying. To be fair, but if people,
as well.
but if people are saying that, Arsenal are a disgrace and they're entitled to play however they want. My thoughts on the game was that, and I know people don't agree. That's fine, but I personally think that Liverpool will now win the league because I don't think that they're going to drop more points than either Arsenal or City. So from my perspective, it was a must-win for both sides. Obviously, Arteta didn't think that same way because he clearly set up for a draw. And again, there's nothing wrong. I'm not trying to belittle that. There's nothing wrong with that. But they clearly did because there was like a moment where like Raya did the classic, catch the ball, go down. Like Arsenal players were, taking their time over certain actions. And again, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying it was a thing. So from my perspective, that surprised me a little bit. I thought that maybe it was a good opportunity to maybe ask City a few more questions. Also, like maybe given our backline issues, Ake went off as well, looked a little bit shakier after then. Again, in my opinion, the context of the remaining games, as I say, Arteta doesn't agree. That's fine. He obviously thinks that a draw is a good result. Hence, he coached a draw. Nothing wrong with that. I would say that I don't think Arsenal would have wanted to defend that deeply. Be interested what Rory says on that, because I think there was certainly early on, there was a clear intention from Arsenal to try to press us high, but Pep did a weird thing, which worked, to be fair, of playing Kovacic as a centre-back in the first phase of build-up. So it meant that in terms of when we were starting our build-up phase, Kovacic, a very good on-ball player, was receiving the ball instead of a centre-back who's obviously not as good. That meant it was trickier for Ødegaard to press us, and that meant that we were able to get out of Arsenal's press. That meant that, as a consequence, Arsenal had to drop lots of bodies back because they couldn't commit as many bodies forward to the press because we were getting out of their press. So I don't think So I do think that Arsenal, they did want to set up defensively for the draw, but they didn't want to do it to the degree they did. Because at some points they were playing with a back six at times. Again, I don't think that was the intent. I don't think anyone really wants to allow City that much space when you've got Rodri, De Bruyne, etc. But I think Pep got it right, to be fair, for most of the game. But there was no decisiveness in the final actions. There was no, we need to work the ball to Rodri and try to get a long shot off, because that's really the only way we're not going to score with Gvardiol crossing a ball in. All the space is there, but he's a centre-back at the end of the day. So I think that it was a sort of game where we needed an outside-the-box clean strike from, as I say, a Rodri, and that chance never really materialised. We needed our best pocket players on the pitch for the full 90 in order to have the best chance of winning. Took Foden off. I don't agree with that change. I think that people are talking about, Foden stank up the place. And yeah, he didn't play well, but I mean, De Bruyne, man, he was bad. He was bad throughout the whole 90 minutes. He wasn't offering anything. I thought Foden offered a bit more. So I agree with how Pep set up.
So Pep Guardiola cost Manchester City the game with his substitutions and in-game management. Another reason why
I want to get
I
Rory's
don't think it was
opinion
optimal.
on this because there is one sentence that Nobbin said. It's Arsenal's fault. What I actually thought Arsenal were more dangerous than Manchester City. So clearly, if you defended and you just lumped it forward to the big guy, I would say yes. But you clearly, when you got the ball, you had a plan. You tried to play.
I didn't say they didn't have a plan. Where's this gaslighting come from?
I'm not gaslighting Nobbins. Okay, no, hold on. I'm not gaslighting Nobbins. When you say it's someone's fault, if someone defends better,
is what I said.
Don't
forget speech marks. That matters.
If someone is someone's fault and someone has the ball, let me just say something. If someone is defending very deep and they are more defensive, and in the same time they create more chances than the other team, isn't that the ultimate game plan? Isn't that
I'm not saying it's a bad game plan. I never said that once.
The thing you said that I would disagree with is you said that Arsenal and Arteta set up for a draw, and I don't think that's true. I think Arsenal set up not to lose and would have wanted a win, but would have made sure that they didn't lose the game. And the reason I say that is we had 2 chances to win the game. Like the plan worked, and in the 85th minute, if Trossard gets the ball right and squares it to Martinelli, it's a tap-in. And if Jesus peels off Ake when Saka puts the ball across instead of trying to get in front of him, it's a tap-in. So there were 2 big, in my opinion, big chances that we didn't capitalize on. And I think that, in a nutshell, was the game plan. It was make sure we don't lose. We will get 2, maybe 3 chances, and one of those you have to put away. And we didn't put that away, and that was why it ended up in a 0-0 draw. But I do think you're right. I do think we were deeper than we wanted to be. I think Arteta even said in the second half the plan wasn't to be that deep. It was just the way the game went. And I think Martinelli was a big loss. As much as I know you had defenders missing, I think the threat of Martinelli's pace on the break was a big loss because it meant that you could suffocate us. It meant that you could commit a Kanji further forward without worrying about, Jesus, who he would catch if he was away. So it was a dull game. I think tactically, the only tactical things that interested me were the substitutions. And I think Arteta got it right. I think he was reactive to Pep, basically. And when you brought on Doku, we took off Kivior and brought on Tomiyasu, which was really smart. And that was the kind of only real interesting part of the tactical battle for me. But the disappointing thing for me, if you want to talk about, okay, it was disappointing that Arsenal part of the bus, it was disappointing that City never really went for it. There was never a period where I thought they're trying the real risky ball here. They're trying to make something happen. It was kind of like, it was quite passive. You were just playing the same way and hoping that something would change, and nothing did change. And I do feel like the onus really was on City to win that game more than Arsenal. And a draw is far better for us than it is for you. And you never really left yourselves exposed at the back in an attempt to force the win. So I thought that was disappointing.
I think that's what the Doku change was supposed to be. And in concepts, that was the right decision. Because as soon as he came...
Doku's a bit crap though, isn't he? So it doesn't
quite
work out.
Okay, they blame Doku. Okay, so no, but before you go on, a lot of people I saw that online, they blame Doku, who wasn't great. But he played on the right side. But when Foden plays out of position, they say they blame the coach. So why are we blaming Doku, who has played all season on the left side, and he was put on the right side? He's not comfortable. Clearly, he wasn't comfortable dribbling there. And people wants to blame Doku himself.
I'm not blaming him.
Not you. I'm talking about because the people say Doku, the San Maximan, this. I like Doku. I think he's still young. I think he can develop. But why are we not blaming the coach who put him on the right side, who has never played there, and not on the left? And he looked not comfortable. Why didn't he change it in 5 minutes?
I don't agree about the out of position one because that's where Doku plays best football at Rennes.
But not at Man City.
Well,
you're someone who cannot say that about position when you do videos daily about Foden playing central versus right side. So you cannot say that. You can. Well, you at Man City, Foden has 80% win percentage, touches, and all this stuff. And now when I tell you that Doku played out of position on the right side, where he all the season played left wing, you're saying he played good at Rennes.
Well, he did, but it's also because there's a big difference between a midfielder being asked to be a touchline winger and a two-footed winger being asked to play on either flank. It's like asking Sterling to play on the right versus the left. There is a negligible difference, and in my opinion, Doku is a right winger rather than the left winger anyway. What I was saying was that I think that the Doku change was probably correct. I liked how Pep set up. I liked how it was more control oriented for like the first 60 or so minutes. I think that's where we went wrong at Anfield. And then you've got your impact players like Doku, for example. So I think Doku was the right person to come on. And I can't remember if it was Tomiyasu or Kiwior, but like he seemed to beat his fullback at least once and got us into the box, which was interesting. But then, as has been the case with Doku this season, it was the final pass or the final action which just wasn't quite there.
But when was the last time Doku actually got a goal or an assist in the Premier League? I'm not counting Huddersfield. I'm not counting Kirklees. No, I want to. He's a good team.
Yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest, but yeah.
Is it genuinely still Bournemouth? Because it might still be Bournemouth.
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm actually going to have a look now.
I still think it was the right call to bring him on, to be fair, because the game was It was Bournemouth, yeah. So I still think it was
Rory with the stats.
I do still think it was the right call to bring him on, given the context of the game. Like Rory is right, there wasn't much penetration going on because Arsenal obviously are very good. I mean, it's hard to beat any low block, but when a good team decides to do a low block, it's obviously harder. So I think the Doku change was correct. It's just a shame that he's not quite settled in fully to City yet, and that's reasonable because no one can name me one winger under Pep who did settle in properly in their first season under Pep. So I don't blame Doku for that. It's just a shame that he wasn't quite able to be that decisive factor. I thought Grealish was good when he came on, but again,
I actually quite liked Grealish's impact when he came on.
Yeah,
it's just that everyone else around him wasn't doing what they needed to. I thought Grealish was doing what he was supposed to.
Grealish did good, but then after the game, you see Pep, shouting at him, and it's because there were some moments where he could have played in a De Bruyne or a Haaland like on the edge of Arsenal's box, and he opted not to. I think that's what Pep was shouting at Grealish about. So yeah, ultimately a boring game for a neutral. I think for me a boring game for someone who likes tactics.
It was just a boring game, wasn't it?
You didn't like it because
Rory didn't like it. I didn't like it. Mo probably didn't like it. No one really liked that game. No one enjoyed it. No one sat there and went, "Oh, I can't wait to rewatch the highlights at Arsenal Man City."
Yeah, it's interesting because like obviously if Arsenal win the title by a point, this will be looked at as an unbelievable point. But I personally don't think it's enough. I still think Liverpool win the title now.
This is the thing. This is the I think the reason that this kind of narrative has come about that this was a missed opportunity for Arsenal and this was the chance to lay our marker. For me, it's wrong because it's that's only being said because we had the chance to stay top, because the context of the league where it was on the specific day that we played that game meant that we could have stayed top. But historically, Klopp has never taken more than 3 points off Guardiola in a season. We've taken 4 off him. Guardiola's never taken all 6 points off Klopp in a Premier League season. So Arteta would have had to have beaten what both of those two managers have achieved against each other. And I just think if, whatever happens at the end of the season, if we look back and we say, well, we gained 3 points on City and 3 points on Liverpool in the head-to-head games, like you can't really ask for more than that. And that's why I find it slightly weird that there's almost been like it was Arsenal that should have been going out. And we've done it before. We did it at home last season. We took the game to you. We had 64% possession. We had more of the attacks in the game. And we lost 3-1. And we were labelled naive. It was labelled as very smart and adept by Guardiola to allow Arsenal to play that game and do them on the counter-attack. And so I just feel like the only way Arsenal could seemingly have got any praise yesterday was to go to the Etihad, take it to City, play aggressive attacking football and win. And it seems like that's, a fairly tough ask, especially given that we supposedly have a far inferior squad.
Yeah, and I guess that's the question, because you bring up the Klopp points. That's absolutely right. I guess my sort of retort to that might be, I'm not saying Arsenal should have gone out there and tried to batter us and try to control the game. I'm just more looking at it from the point of view of I personally think Liverpool drop less points than Arsenal from now until the end of the season. So that's my starting point. And I guess I just look at the seasons where it was a title race between Liverpool and City, and City were basically the context was, I know it's different context this season, it's a 3-horse race, but the context at that time was City are ahead of Liverpool. Liverpool probably need to win to put the title race into their own hands.
Yeah.
And on all 3 occasions on the 2 occasions where there's been a City Liverpool title race, they failed to win. They lost in 18-19 and then they drew in 21-22.
To be fair,
and ultimately
I think it's a weird one because we normally end seasons quite well. It's just you normally end them quite well as well. That's the difference. So I think the years you're on about, we picked up, if I'm right. So 18-19 was the first one, wasn't it? Where you got 98 and we got 97. We won 9 of our last 10 games and drew the one before it. So we picked up 28, but you picked up 30 because you went on the most fucking ridiculous run that I've ever seen any team go on to break my heart. Then the 21-22 season, obviously we played you in the last 10 games, I think, or it might have been just shy of that.
And it was a draw, yeah.
And then we drew with Tottenham, but we won everything else. So worst case scenario, if it wasn't a 10, we picked up 26 out of 30 points. Just you picked up like 24 as well, and you already had that lead on us at that point. We always end seasons quite well. Even like years where we've not been in a title race. Last year, we won 8 and drew 2. The year where we had no centre-backs, again, we won 8, drew 2. The year we won the league was probably our season where we had the worst end to a season because we lost 2, drew 1, won the remaining 7 or something. Like, we normally end seasons quite well. It's just we've never been in... I'm going to say it like
yesterday?
this. R1.
Yeah, did you like how you played? Did you like how the forward line?
I do not care about. I'll put it this way, Mum. If Mohamed Salah decides to bury any of his other 11 shots in the game, the performance has looked at a lot better because the scoreline's bigger.
Right.
It doesn't matter. They've
a lot of chances.
Also, they've been doing this all season. That's the thing. Liverpool have been playing unsustainable football all season. It's really annoying me. And I was one of those people that said,
but you're top of the league.
That's what I mean. Yeah. And I kept saying that, like the halfway point, I was like, right, well,
everybody, I want to be unsustainable.
Yeah, I was like, there's no way they can keep doing this and they win again. There's no way they can keep doing this and they win again. So, right, okay, they can. Okay, fair enough. They can just do it. And now that there's only 9 games left, and now we're at the stage of the season where performances are relevant and all that matters is results.
We'll move to Liverpool, but before we move on, listen, guys, like this is a record for this. We got about 700 people here, and we're not even on 200 likes. That's absolutely abysmal and atrocious, like the game yesterday. Absolutely. We need at least to be on 350 likes. I know you're enjoying the show, so stop what you're doing now, and the like button is underneath. I can do the whatever tutorial that you guys like. Apparently, when we do the tutorial, you guys hit that like button, but I don't know where is my my video, to be honest. If you're watching the video and you have the live chat like this, you close the live chat like this, and it's right here. The like button is right here. It's thumbs up. It looks like this. So come on, let's get to 300 likes in the next 5 minutes.
I saw you then, Mo, not skipping that advert, trying to get that ad revenue. I saw that then. You didn't skip that advert. Look, he's probably still got to play in the background now.
Of course, it's still played. Listen, now we want to say something. Arsenal won a point.
Mm-hmm.
But does that make their chances of winning the league less?
Objectively, yes, it does, according to Opta.
No.
Yes, actually. And I'm going to do the super chat after this topic. It's very complicated, Rory. Going to the Etihad, I didn't expect you to win. So I think a point is a very good result for you, based on all the facts that we said before. Man City didn't lose at the Etihad since blah. Man City scored a goal in the last 60 games or something that they played at the Etihad. However, if I'm looking at your run and I'm looking at Man City and Liverpool run, I think your chances are actually less now. And that's where the must win came from before the game.
I'm pretty sure before the game was played, Arsenal had an 18% chance of winning the league, and after the draw, we're now up to a 35% chance of winning the league.
But isn't Liverpool's now higher than what City's was?
Don't think so. But ours is higher. That's the big thing. Our percentage chance of winning the league has nearly doubled off the back of the draw. Yeah, from
What do
before the
you
game.
think? What do you think?
Yeah, I think we've got a better chance now that we've got that game out of the way. I think, people say, "Oh, that was a real opportunity for Arsenal to lay down the market." It was also an opportunity for Arsenal to lose and really end our chances of winning the title. And people don't look at it the other way. So, and I look at it right. If Liverpool win every game from now until the end of the season, they'd have taken 43 points from 45 in their final 15 games of the season. If they do that, hands up. Congratulations on the title. No problem with that. If they don't do that, if they drop any points, then that means that Arsenal can win the league by winning all of our games. And so if Liverpool drop any points, but we don't win all of our games, then one of the next 9 games is the game where we cost ourselves, because all of the remaining 9 games we have are easier games than winning at the Etihad. So I just don't look at that game as the issue at all. And I definitely think we're in a better position now than we were before the game.
You can never look at a game against City away and go, that's the game that cost you. I've hated it when our fans have tried to do it in years gone by. That is the toughest game of the season. If Arsenal were to lose the league at this point, it would either be something that has happened in the future,
Fulham and West Ham. Arsenal should have been top of the table.
or it's that
something.
December run that cost them.
Arsenal should have been top of the table. That West Ham and Fulham games, they should not have dropped points in 2 games. They should have dropped points probably in one of them only. They lost both, guys. People forget that because they won the last 8 games.
I think both Fulham games are what let them down because they drew with
Fulham
really
at home.
the season.
That's in the beginning.
Because Fulham were down to 10 men as well.
Forget that.
But it was but it was the dumbest points that we've dropped because we were 2-1 up with 5 minutes to go against 10 men. Like, that's the worst 2 points we've dropped.
Weren't you behind in the beginning of the game and Fabio Vieira came on and changed the game?
Yeah, and then we were 2-1 up.
So you came back from behind, then you went 2-1 up, and then you dropped it. But I look at the Fulham game away from home and the West Ham. That's the middle of the season. Everybody dropped one in the beginning of the season. You dropped 6 points back. You dropped 3 points back to back.
Yeah,
that's very strange, actually.
Yeah, it was bad.
No game really against a title rival is a game where you say you threw it away unless it's a really bad thing. Like I wouldn't, if we lost the league now, I wouldn't say drawing away at the Etihad or losing against Arsenal was what cost us. I'd say drawing against fucking Luton away from home or drawing against Brighton when being 2-1 up. Stuff like that is what cost you because they're the winnable games.
And also, like I said, Guardiola has never taken all 6 points off Liverpool, and yet it's not stopped him winning, 5 Premier League titles. Klopp never took 6 points off Guardiola in the season that Liverpool won the league. So there's no, historically, there's not a single example of a team having to take all 6 points against the title rival to win the league. So, I just don't think that that's the case now.
I think for me, the reason why I probably disagree with both of you is due to context. And I agree that at the end of the season, you look at the games, you go, right, where was the season won and lost? So, for example, when, in my opinion, City don't win the title this season, I'll look at that period where it was, the 4-4 at Chelsea, followed by the 3-3 against Spurs, followed by the 2-2 against Palace, and then the 1-1 at home against Liverpool. That really weird period where we dropped so many points. However, when you're in the title race, you have a chance to right those wrongs. Mm-hmm. So, for example, City had the chance yesterday to right that wrong and to beat Arsenal. City had the chance to right the wrong at Anfield against an understrength side. And you look at that, and to Rory's point of, the context of Arsenal not doing well at the Etihad, likewise, City don't do well at Anfield. But you've got to look in the context of the position you're in right there and then, and the context of the team that Liverpool put out. And I saw that team, I was like, right, well, now this becomes a must-win, because we're not going to have a better chance to win it. And also the fact that we've played ourselves into this bad position or this, suboptimal position, and now we've got to right that wrong. So I think that to Rory and Tom's point of these aren't the games that define your season. I agree to an extent at the end of it, in hindsight. However, in the moment, when you have the chance to right that wrong and you can be in control of your destiny, I think that's when it does become really important.
Well, and maybe it's different for you because your team are
become very philosophical.
And purposes, the favourites going into these games. Certainly in both games against us, you were the favourites. I think us against Arsenal was probably a draw in the first one, and we were the favourites against them at the Emirates potentially, if a cup, because we beat them in the FA Cup, and that's what people tried to run with as a narrative. When Arsenal played, I think City were the favourites in both of them, apart from maybe the game at the Emirates because there was no Rodri. But then I think Arsenal had no Saka, so you were probably still edged as a slight favourite sort of thing. That when you're going into these games not expecting to win, it's a different sort of thing where you take you take your draws and you know you can make them up later on down the line. With City, I feel it probably sits a little bit differently because you go into them games expected to win, and especially for you this season because you have had to play catch up and you've not won. It must feel a little bit more sort of disconcerting and worrying. I still think there's a long way to go in this title race, honestly.
Yeah,
9 games.
I actually don't think everybody's gonna win every game, like what people say.
Exactly. And
if everyone wins every game to win the season, it is one of the maddest title races ever. Because there's no way three teams should win
Freaking
9
crazy,
games in a
bro.
row.
People say Arsenal will win every game, Liverpool will win every game, City will win every game. What?
Yeah. If we all win all of our games till the end of the season, it would mean Arsenal had won 17 out of their last 18 and drawn 1. Liverpool would have won 14 out of their last 15 and drawn 1, and City would have been unbeaten since flipping December or whatever. Like it would be ridiculous. And so, assuming that isn't the case, then there are going to be results between now and the end of the season where you go, okay, so that was actually the one that cost you the league. Like this game is only the thing that cost us the league if all 3 teams win every game from now until the end of the season, which I don't think
there is zero chance. No, I look at every team that's left, and in my mind, every team has 3 tough games, like really tough ones where I go, oh, you could drop points there. Some have 4, and then you factor in, I mean, City have Brighton away, Tottenham away, and I think Villa can be a tough game.
I actually believe Brighton and Spurs decide the league.
Yeah, because Brighton
away for Man City and Arsenal. After the game I watched yesterday, I think Brighton away kind of.
No, you know what though, Mo? The reason I disagree is I don't think Brighton set up like that against. I don't think Brighton set up like that at home. That's the difference. Brighton set up yesterday. I think from now until the end of the season,
Tom, I think the Derby is going to show us something different.
Yeah, but
he wants that Liverpool job.
He's not fucking getting it. I don't want him. I don't want him anywhere near my football club. I do not want that man anywhere near my football club. He can do whatever he wants. He can sing "You'll Never Walk Alone" on the
I actually believe he's gonna get it over Amorim.
No chance. Do you want me to tell you why, Mo? Do you want me to tell you why? All De Zerbi's done this season is moan. He's moaned about the owners. He's moaned about the funding. And yes, in the grand scheme of things,
isn't that what Klopp does every season though?
No, but Jurgen Klopp doesn't call out the ownership, and Jurgen Klopp doesn't have a go about his transfer budget. Jurgen Klopp moans about the referees or the weather.
He literally does that all the time. Talk about Man City transfers.
Yes, but he doesn't moan about his. Yes, because he likes.
That's exactly what it means. When I say about Man City,
let's be fair and honest here. It is a different thing. It's a different thing moaning. No, hear me out. When you're the owner of a football club, it's a different thing. Your manager moaning about other clubs than your manager moaning about you. That's what De Zerbi's done. He's moaned about everything at Brighton this year. Our football club operates with more money than Brighton, but with the exact same model as Brighton. So De Zerbi would just be moving to a bigger club with higher expectations and the same running structure, which he doesn't like. I reckon De Zerbi's going back to Italy. He's leaving Brighton, but he's going back to Italy. Ruben Amorim doesn't moan about anything. Ruben Amorim just sits there. That's what our ownership would like. Someone who doesn't get on their back and ask them to spend money. Why do you think Jurgen Klopp has been loved by them? Because he doesn't ask them to spend money. He will work with what he's given. De Zerbi won't. De Zerbi is a bit sort of confrontational and stuff. Our ownership won't want that after Jurgen Klopp. I also don't think he really. This is a personal one. Obviously, I don't like his style of football. I hate watching his style of football. I think it's too risky and boring. And I quite like a little bit of directness. And here's all right. We're gonna have my centre back do this, and then my DM's gonna rotate. We're gonna have no. When you watch a team that's direct and can press a little bit, it struggles and falls apart. Hence why they conceded 4 to Luton. I don't want De Zerbi anywhere near the Liverpool job. And yesterday, again, showcased it. Because like I said, if our players knew how to finish their chances, which they are paid hundreds of thousands of pounds to do, that game ends 4-1, 5-1. And everyone looks at it and goes, oh, De Zerbi's cost himself there. Because Brighton didn't nullify us.
Do you not worry that bringing in a yes man in Amorim is not actually a good step? Because unless he's as good as Klopp and can get the same out of whatever he's given. Unless you can get the same as Klopp can out of it, then you're not going to be back at the top with him. Whereas, do you not need someone that's going to challenge the ownership?
The issue
in
is
the way that De Zerbi would.
I would like someone who would challenge the ownership if they'd win. But I have stubborn owners who've been doing this for 20 plus years in other sports. They don't give in to managers. So De Zerbi could say all he wants to the media. Nothing would change. So it would just be, it would negate it. It would be pointless. Amorim isn't as good as Jurgen Klopp. I'll be the first to admit it. As much as I like him, as much as I think he is 100% the best man for the job, he's not as good as Jurgen Klopp. But I think he can get to a level where we can be back at the top, and we're getting the right people in power above him who can maximize what you can do with the recruitment strategy that we operate in. We're doing everything around him to try and replace him. We can't replace Jurgen Klopp with a manager. There is no manager there who can replace Jurgen Klopp. You have to try and replace him in aggregate. So we're getting a manager who's really good at the man management side of things and pretty decent at the tactics side of things. We're getting in a recruitment staff who don't need then. What we do now is we bring in players and then rely heavily on Jurgen Klopp being able to bring the most out of them. We're now getting in a better recruitment setup, which is going to focus on bringing in players who are better initially. So the gap to make up through the manager and the training and that isn't as big. Or I'll be the first to admit it will probably take a year, maybe two, especially depending on the contract situations of certain players. But ultimately,
Ricky Lambert and Danny Ings incoming.
No. You see, we're long gone are them days. The Ricky Lambert and Danny Ings days was Brendan Rodgers again. Amorim doesn't want transfers. Doesn't want to run the transfers. I'm fine with that. De Zerbi would, and that's not going to work with what we do. I just don't think his personality and the way he is as a manager and the tactics he employs isn't what Liverpool is at the minute. I think we are. If you want to see this as a negative, I can hear it. We are tied to the Jurgen Klopp way of playing for the next 10 years. Not exactly down to the 4-3-3, but the philosophies of it, because we've embodied it so much in these last 9 years. Hassam's got this weird fetish with Pochettino. I don't want Pochettino. If I can't get Amorim, I go for Nagelsmann. If I can't get either of them, I go watch a different sport.
Crazy. Someone clip that.
Guys, I need that. We'll do the super chats. Guys, we have 800 people here, not even 700. We have 800 people. So I'm asking you guys to like the video. Let's get to 400 likes. Guys, let's get 400 likes. It's simple. And I'm going to do super chats now. Get your super chats in now because I'm going to do the next section. We'll do super chat. Let me just write that down to see what minute so people can follow. 43. Akash is saying Arsenal had a chance to lay down a marker. I agree. That's what we're talking about, to be honest. But however, I actually think they did. Like people again, I think from understanding from this super chat that Akash, you want Arsenal to go for it.
Yeah, but I think ultimately, like Rory's probably said multiple times, everyone, if Arsenal had went for it and lost, would have just taken the piss out of Arteta for getting the tactics wrong and exposing themselves.
God, yeah. We know it. You know it. I know it. You know it. I know it. They know it. Arteta knew it, and the fans knew it. But they still criticized him.
No, he could have won. He could have won if we'd gone there and suffocated them and outplayed them and won the game 3-0. And then if we'd done that, it would have been, yeah, but they only had one of their back five. You played a weakened team. You got so lucky with injuries, yada, yada, yada. This is the Arsenal way.
Agendas are always going to agenda. Agendas are always going to agenda. That's what you've got to understand. You just take what you can get. And I don't think any Arsenal fan... Look, as a neutral, the game was shit. I was bored out of my mind. Nothing moved on. If you want to question that, you question that. But for Arsenal fans especially, they can't see that result as a negative. You can see that you could have got a win if you'd taken your counter-attacking opportunities better. But that's what sort of happens in these games sometimes. Because you're so deep and because you're so pinned back, your players are quite tired when you get to the counter-attacks.
Yeah, and it's results-based, right? We beat them at home in a not dissimilar way. We were very controlled and conservative at home. We just got the deflected winner at the end. And if the same had happened at the end of this game, then I don't think people would have, criticized.
I think as well.
I need to get to the super chat, Tom, and then we can continue talking.
Sorry, Mo. Sorry.
You know the drill, Tom. You're experienced now. I don't blame Arsenal. The media love Pep. That's why. Do you agree with that, Nobbins? That there's too much criticism of Arteta yesterday, and nobody is just laid a hand on Pep Guardiola yesterday, even though he's the one who played at home and his team didn't create enough chances.
Yeah, I think I've addressed that. To be fair, I think that I was happy with how Pep set up for the most part. Didn't agree with the subs. I don't have an issue with Arsenal playing how they did. Perfectly within their right to do that. I've touched on why I don't think that long term that will be seen as the correct view, but Rory and Tom disagree, and that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, Yuri's saying great panel. Yeah, this is absolutely a fantastic show, guys.
Yeah.
And with the viewers, of course, with you guys viewing and the likes and shares, and you guys are making this show even better, to be honest. I am saying people pick and choose what context to apply according to their emotions. Before the game, City are the best. They have Rodri, De Bruyne, and were beating us. But after the game, Arsenal suddenly get heat for drawing. Yes, I am. Absolutely, 100%.
Spot on.
Look at my massive forehead, man. That's crazy.
It's literally what happened after the game. And people say Man City were depleted. Kevin De Bruyne, Foden, Haaland, Bernardo, Rodri, Kovacic, Akanji, people wanted in team of the season, Diaz, right? Yes, Ederson wasn't there. And Nathan Aki, who we're told the best centre back sometimes at City, and Gavardiol. I think that was good enough. Yes, Aki got injured. Well, Rico Lewis is not bad. Yes, that's the only one in there. Kyle Walker. For me, Kyle Walker makes a big difference for Man City. I think the chances.
Kyle Walker missing was a net positive for Man City.
Yeah, he makes a massive difference. Yeah, exactly.
I actually disagree with you, but he didn't need him yesterday. But I think Kyle Walker.
I thought Rico Lewis had a very good game when he came on, to be honest.
Lewis was very good.
And
about
I
Kyle
don't know
Walker,
what's happened this season because he's not playing.
He always does this, Pep. He develops a player half a season or something, and he waits the next season. Easily integrate him. He's managing his minutes. He doesn't want to burn him. Ben is saying, Nobbins, Arsenal versus City at your home, so City should be favorites to win, but it's a draw. City has 70% possession and one shot on target, so not a bad result.
For City or Arsenal, sorry.
He's asking you for City. It's not that a bad result.
I think it's a detrimental result. I don't think we win the title now. I think we had to win that game.
Words.
What?
Look at using the big words.
I
want a proper footy. I want a proper footy finance like you're in the pub. Is it a good result or a bad result?
No, because bad would suggest that there is a solution. There is recourse. I don't think there's a way forward now for City personally. I don't think.
You think you're out of the title race? Can we talk about that after? Or your chances are slimmer?
We've spoken about this before, and I said on the preview with you, Mo, and Rory, that obviously mathematically there is obviously a chance because that's how maths works. But if we're talking about practical terms, do I think that Liverpool will drop 4 points more than us from now until the end of the season? Personally, no, I don't see that. Because again, I can see Liverpool dropping 4 points. That's not an issue. Or is it? Can they technically drop 3 if we do a goal difference swing? Maybe, but can I see them losing and drawing / losing, and then a big goal difference is made up, and we also win all of our games? Personally, I can't see that. I would love it if I did see it, but I'm just trying to be realistic. I personally can't see it. Hence, that's why I use the words detrimental in respect to that result. I thought we had to win that game.
Nobbins, I know what you do. So I went to the wonderful Merriam-Webster dictionary site and went to the synonyms of detrimental. Do you want to know what the first synonym of detrimental is? Bad. So it was a bad result.
Do you understand that synonym means similar, not exact?
That's not the actual meaning.
I didn't do A-level English like some people. I forgot what everything means.
Well, that's not good enough. You should do better.
If they're detrimental, I'm sitting there going, oh, what's he on about now?
If you had two God, if you had two options, Nobbins, good or bad, what would you pick?
What, for City?
Yeah.
What, bad, obviously.
Good. And there you go. Good.
Yes. He got him to say, Jamrook is saying, LFC won 13 and drew 4 after they lost 1-2 to City in 18-19. They actually went undefeated the remainder of the season. Man City actually lost to Newcastle after. But you drew 4, so you dropped 8 points. Man City lost only 3 points. Draws can cost you a title race.
Also, it's at 17 games as well. Like, there's only 9 left.
He's talking about 18-19. But again, I'm saying whoever is going to, from now until the end of the season, Whoever is going to drop 4 points is not going to win the title. 4 points is too much. And it doesn't matter if it's even Liverpool, by the way.
And that's why I can't see Liverpool doing that. I can't see Liverpool dropping 4 and City winning all their games.
No. Yeah, but they have Everton away. It's very tough.
Oh, Everton and Man United away. Oh.
No, I can't even take the piss out United because we haven't fucking beaten them this season.
Oh, yeah. Aya saying Liverpool fans will be begging for the derby a few months into next season. They think Klopp fall from trees. There isn't any manager in Klopp's level.
I promise you, Aya, I'm going to talk to you right now, Aya. I promise you, by January of next year, I will not be begging for Roberto De Zerbi. I'll be very happy with the situation my club is in. And even if, for whatever reason, the next manager didn't work out, I would still not want Roberto De Zerbi. The man is 42 years of age and gels his hair up like he's going on a nice house. Oh, I've got no respect for that man.
Crazy.
All right.
There's a man at Al Ettifaq who we might be interested in.
No, he's all like a mate. I can tell exactly what will happen with Steven Gerrard, you know. I can tell exactly what will happen. If the next manager comes in and struggles, Steven Gerrard will be our Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He'll come in, he'll steady the ship, he'll get the fans on side, and he'll get a fucking 3-year contract out of it. Steven Gerrard is our Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in waiting.
Okay. I was saying, listening to Tom reminds me of what
annoys, basically.
Irks me with football fans. They can't think beyond their emotions and can't look beyond the surface level eye tests. There are no available managers in Klopp's level again. There is one.
I never said there. Hold on, I never said there was.
You did explicitly say that Amorim isn't on Klopp's level, to be fair.
My whole spiel was you have to replace him in aggregate because you can't find a manager who does what Jurgen Klopp does.
There is a manager that might win the league this year, and it's on Klopp's level.
Who?
He's sitting right next to you.
Rory.
He's the manager.
Go ahead, Rory, lad. What league you managing in, lad? I didn't realise you were sitting next to me. You know, I'm in the presence of a potential league.
I think this is for another day. We could talk about it now because it pisses a lot of people.
Or were you on about Inzaghi?
He hasn't even won the league title yet. He's not even on Klopp's level, of course. Klopp won a Champions League, reached 2-3 Champions League finals, reached 4 Champions League finals in his career, won 3 league titles, and Inzaghi hasn't even won 1 league title. So,
Mo, who were you on about then? Are you on about Arteta? Were you on about Arteta?
Then?
I don't want Arteta. I don't want Arteta. I don't want a former Everton player as my manager. In the same way, I'd never want a former England manager as my manager. I don't want anyone ever
could do a job.
Wait. LFC are frauds like the corrupt judge. They won't win.
Thank you, Philippe.
Thank you, Philip. Harshavardan. This is a very long name. So I'm just going to call you Harsh. Guys, what do you think of the new FIFA offside rule? It's absolutely stupid. It's absolutely garbage. The reason why it's garbage because it didn't change anything other than just the line went forward. So they're still drawing lines based on eye test, but that line just moved forward. People think that when they change the rule, it will fix VAR. There's still people that will draw the lines and will still complain. Oh, the line should have been on his this toe, shoulder or not shoulder. It's stupid. It's absolutely
people also.
I think the new offside rule is brilliant because Darwin Núñez is now going to score 35 goals a season.
Bro, he's still going to be ahead even more.
Yeah, but he won't. Because after a few years, everyone will just adjust to the new positioning. And so the players that are offside now will be offside again. But also, people think that because it's going to give the attackers an advantage, there are going to be more goals. It won't, because defenders are going to sit even deeper because they'll know that they can't even have a 50-50 race with an attacker. The attacker can have a head start. So it's actually teams that sit deep already are just going to sit even deeper. Teams that play a high line are going to stop playing such a high line. I guarantee it results in less goals.
Or they play an even higher line. I think you're either going to see teams go right to the edge of the box, or they're going to sit right on the halfway line. And there won't be much difference in between because that's the only ways of getting around it. You can't hold the same line. So you either go, we're going to suffocate you right in and use the halfway line as our offside line, or we're going to camp on the edge of our box and go, if you're getting behind us, the keeper's there, so we're all right. These mid blocks that we see now where the defense is about 5 yards in front of its box, and it's all very compact there. They're probably going to start fading out if this new rule comes
Also,
in. I don't think the new rule will
defenders.
happen.
Slow
defenders
defenders will
are
just
brilliant.
literally just disappear from the game. Like,
Oh my God.
It's not a fair rule.
It's Van der Ven world, and we live in it now. This is
Yeah.
it. It's Van der Ven world, and we live in it. Big up JJ for the super chat. Appreciate the support for the channel. Say big up Mo and the panel. Great result for us. He's an Arsenal fan. We didn't park the bus, but Arteta played with a good press, sometimes high and other times deep, while aiming for a quick direct counter. City fans so salty. Come on, you're gonna do you salty, Nobin?
I think I've been quite reasonable, to be fair.
You're
He's only asked for
Robbins
Pep
is
out 3
reasonable.
times because of his substitutions. We're improving with him.
I do think that Arsenal, I use the term low block, park the bus, whatever term you want to use. I don't think there's an issue with that, though. But they did do that, but there's no issue with that.
Bernardo Silva said we pressed you high really well and we dropped deep when you got through the press. So I don't think it was like a full-on sit back, park the bus and don't try and press. I think we did engage the press. I think we won the ball back in your half quite a few times.
But both things can be the same, to be fair. I think that's a fair assessment.
I saying, Tom, I'm talking about your expectations. You guys won't be challenging for the league for the next 3 seasons. The new manager needs to build his squad.
Right. Okay. So if let's say we win the league this year, I'm just going to put that out there. Let's say we win the league this year. The manager would then be inheriting a title-winning squad. So either our team isn't a title-winning squad, and Jurgen Klopp is the best manager in the Premier League, in the world, one of the greatest managers of all time for the levels that he can make bad teams reach, or he's a good manager and our team is a title-challenging team. Therefore, when you bring in a new manager, you should still be expected to at least challenge, if not win, but challenge, because you've got a title-winning squad there with a level that can be reached. I'm not saying that we'll be straight up there next year, 100 points, but I would be disappointed if all of a sudden, after 1 year, we go for battling for Europa League or battling to try and sneak into the Champions League. Our squad is good enough and young enough to stay in that spot for a couple of years. Plus,
Ben,
the manager we're bringing in is a similar style, so it's not like he needs to spend a year adjusting everything. There's a reason why I want Amorim. It's because it's the same philosophies. The players won't need to learn anything new. That's the only thing he needs to learn. Van Dijk has to go in the centre of a back 3 now, so he has to do even less running. Poor for him.
But if you're going to play back 5, you better go offer Inzaghi 15 million then.
I don't want Inzaghi. He can't speak English.
English. You can learn English. What are you on about? What are you on about?
Let's bear in mind, Mo. What do you think Inzaghi would turn down a new deal at Inter Milan if he wins the title this year to come to Liverpool, where he's got to learn the language, learn a completely new
for 15 million pounds a year? Yes,
I'm not paying him 15 million quid a year though.
You pay Klopp 15 million quid a year.
Yes, because that's Jurgen Klopp. Do you think Inzaghi is worth as much as Jurgen Klopp?
If he wins the title, yes. To poach him from Inter, you have to understand. I think you're missing the point of someone's worth. Someone's worth is how much they are willing to leave their club.
No,
Does that make sense?
You
have to lure him. I'm not saying he's worth 15 million. I'm saying you have to lure him by that much.
No,
anyway, that's
are you saying? No, I'm just asking. Are you saying we pay Inter 15 million compensation, or we give him 15 million a year in wages?
I think you'll have to offer him a big wage to leave Inter.
Yeah, then I'm all right. I don't want him.
Battle for top 4 then next season. Ben is saying, Mo, it's 9 games to go. Do they have to win all games? Nobody does. Do they have they can't afford to lose points. Whichever team win all the 9 games deserves to win the league, in my opinion. Ben, I don't think they're gonna win nobody's gonna win every game. I don't think so. I genuinely don't think so. Big up everybody that joined from Lee Gunners stream, guys. Thank you, Lee, for the support, and thank you, Lee, for the redirect. Appreciate you guys. If you walked in, like the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, of course. So appreciate everyone. Thank you, Lee, for redirecting. Appreciate you. You're watching championship game. Thanks, Mo. The only objective analysis of the game, Arteta hate Israel. Nobbins has analyzed the game well. Tom has analyzed the game well. And Rory's an Arsenal fan.
That's a rarity for me as well, considering I'm the Arsenal hater. and I've given Arsenal praise. So take what you can get.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Thank you for everybody sending super chats. We'll stop one more time to respond to all the super chats. We have 850 people here on the channel on a freaking Monday afternoon, right? It's absolutely crazy to think about that. So like the video, people, get us to 400 likes. I want to speak about the Liverpool game yesterday, to be honest, and in comparison with. So you played a good game yesterday, in my opinion.
Mhm.
The derby was all right. If this Liverpool team win the title, and I'm gonna ask Rory and Nobbins after this, is that a failure for Manchester City and Arsenal? Because Liverpool completely rebuilt the midfield. You had Konate injured all the time. You had now Alisson injured, Trent is injured, Matip is injured, Salah was in AFCON. Is that an overachievement? And does that put Arsenal and Man City as failures this season?
It's an overachievement by us, definitely, 100%.
Okay.
Because no one was predicting that we'd win the title this year. Everyone was going they get themselves top four, this, that, and the other. To say it's an indictment on City and Arsenal, though, that depends on how it ends. Because it could just be Arsenal had a really good season. It looked bad on City, and I think that's because City have high standards. But on Arsenal, especially, if they win every one of their last games, and they win, as Roddy said, 17 out of their last 18 games, but we win the title anyway, because we just found better form. I don't think you can then say it's a failure by Arsenal. It's just what happens sometimes in these title races. I think that what we're doing this season is very, very good. I certainly didn't expect it. But the level of injuries we had, I'm not saying that other teams haven't had injuries, obviously, because everyone's had injuries, but just for the sheer volume and who's been hit by them. I mean, we done effectively 2 months without 3 of our 4 world-class players. No Trent, no Salah, no Alisson from January. So Alisson's going to miss 2 months. Trent's missed what could end up being 4 months effectively. And Salah has missed 2.5 months. Add into that, Konate is constantly out. The entire left-back situation, which has put Joe Gomez there. Diogo Jota's missed a while as well, and he's one of the better finishers in the league. What we've done with the injuries this season has really impressed me. I'll be honest, I didn't expect us to be in this position at the start of the season. My whole thing was get top 4, win a domestic cup, and win the Europa League. And then you build on that for the season afterwards. But now with the position that we're in, it's sort of you can go all the way. Yeah, you've certainly got advantages that the other two don't have in that situation. And do I think we get over the line? I don't know. I still want to say yes, but I don't know, because there are games that worry me. I think it all depends on if City end up playing Arsenal in the semi-finals of the Champions League. I think we win if they end up having to play each other then, because I think them games will take an awful lot out of them two teams. And I know Arsenal around that time have some tough fixtures. I think that's when you play Tottenham in between those potential 2 legs, which I think could be a really taxing game on it. We're somewhat lucky that we're in the Europa League in that sense, because we're not playing a Manchester City or a Real Madrid or whatever. So I think we do get over the line, because I do see City and Arsenal playing each other, and it would be a really impressive achievement. But I don't necessarily think it would be a failure for Arsenal, depending on the concept. If Arsenal were to fall off a cliff now and lose 4 of their last 9 games and end up, 7 points, 8 points adrift, then yeah. But right, I struggle to put it on him.
I think Liverpool have overachieved. In terms of all of the things that Tom just said, in terms of the injuries they've been through, in terms of the expectations at the start of the season, and also it's like people have forgotten that they completely rebuilt the midfield last summer. Like it's not normal to perform at that level with the entire core of your team rebuilt.
Before we go on, sorry, Rory, guys, Nobbins have to go, family obligations. But thank you, Nobbins. Nobbins' channel is in the description. Nobbins now watch along, live streams, videos. He's providing you with all the entertainment in the world, right? If you're a Man City fan, if you're not even a Man City fan, you have to subscribe to Nobbins. It's in the description. We're continuing for about 10-15 minutes right after this, so stay here with us. Don't go anywhere, right? But Nobbins, appreciate you, buddy. This channel's in the description, and we'll see you soon. Hopefully this week sometime. Appreciate
And
you.
enjoy your dry lamb. Enjoy your dry lamb.
Thank you for having me on, as always. I'll catch you guys later. Big up the chat. Bye-bye.
See ya. Bye. Anyway, and we are back. Go ahead, Rory. Sorry, I just had to send him off.
No, it's all good. I pretty much finished what I was saying. But yeah, I think overall, Liverpool have overachieved massively, and that's not a bad thing. That's an impressive thing. So yeah, if they go on and win the league, then you can't really take anything away from them at all.
I love Alexis McAllister, by the way. I know it's off topic, but you mentioned the midfield. I just love Alexis McAllister. He's so good. He is so good. I feel like he's a little bit unlucky in a sense that Declan Rice moved this summer, because if Declan Rice didn't join Arsenal this summer or whatever, like McAllister would have been the clear front runner for signing of the season. 35 million for the level of output he's producing. Ridiculous. And even for us this season, I certainly back the thing that we overachieved. I mean, I didn't expect Conor Bradley to play as much as he has done and have the impact that he has. Certainly didn't expect Jarell Quansah to do it either. I think Harvey Elliott's really stepped up this season. Bobby Clark, who I expected to go out on loan, ended up performing for us. You know, all these kids have really stepped up for us when we needed it most. Even the squad players have stepped up when we needed it. We've gotten through it now. The hope is that obviously we're getting into the run now, and a lot of our players, even because they've been injured, don't have the same wear and tear that others do. So in the running, they should be not more fit, but more energized sort of thing. They haven't got the same sort of fatigue in the legs. They're just coming back from injuries. That's the thing that you got to look for. But yeah, I'm really happy with how the season's gone. I thought yesterday was a really good performance. The scoreline doesn't reflect how good we played, because Mohamed Salah decided to have the most shots he's ever had in the Premier League game and scored just one of them, which if you could avoid doing that in the future, please, Mum. Just certainly don't try and pull that out at Goodison or Old Trafford or something, please. Like that was horrendous yesterday.
Yeah, I think that's the only part where like the hope comes from for us in City, is that like the final 5 minutes of normal time, it got a little bit nervy. Lallana had a chance he could have buried. Welbeck hit the side netting where he probably should have squared it. And it was like, you wouldn't have deserved to drop points in that game on the balance of play, but you could have done. And I think, yeah, that's where we've got to kind of just hope that at some point one of those ends up in you dropping points.
I actually think from here on, if City go and win this title at the end, Arsenal and Liverpool have to look at themselves in the mirror and say we failed. Man City took 2 points off Liverpool. Arsenal took 4 points off Manchester City. Even Manchester United took a point off Manchester City. I actually believe that at this point.
No, they didn't.
Manchester United, didn't they draw the first game?
No, they lost
3-0. No, they lost 3-0.
Chelsea
are the ones that drew 2 games against them,
and Tottenham as well. United is the only top 6 side City have beaten.
Do United still play Manchester City?
No, they've played them twice and lost both times.
But so the top 5,
it's Tottenham that are still left to play.
United are crap. There are 5 good teams in the league, 3 exceptional teams, and then Spurs and Villa who are good, and City have beaten none of them. They played 6 games against the top 5 so far.
Which game do you guys think will decide the title? Spurs. I'm giving you options: Spurs, United, or Villa. Villa played the 3 teams.
Spurs played the 3 teams. The thing is, Brighton have played everyone as well. I think it's so we've got to play Tottenham at home, and City and Arsenal have to play them away. And I think it's the same thing with Brighton as well. We play Brighton at home, City, and I don't know if Arsenal do, but I know City play them away. So those type of games are the worries. In the same breath for us, I know that City and Arsenal have Villa at home, but we've got them away, and Villa have a decent home record this season. I don't know if City have to play Fulham, but I know we've got Fulham away. It's a tough game. There's games in there which you look at and go,
City have to play Fulham away, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so like their ones, Arsenal have got both of them out the way, which is a good one. If you were to ask me which of them teams is probably gonna have the biggest say, I'm probably gonna go with Tottenham, but I think Brighton take points off one of yours. I don't know who, but they take points off one.
Yeah, I think Spurs are the best on their day team that are left. So they've got 3 chances to be on their day and take points. I think we play Brighton away this weekend, which I think we get them at a good time. They've just done Anfield away. They do Brentford away in the week, and then they've got us, whereas we're against Luton at home in the week. So I think we catch them at a good time. They've got a 12-day break before they play City, and City play them on a Thursday night, 8:00 kickoff. So I think there's a better chance for them against City than against us. We play Spurs at an awful time. They've got a 15-day break before they play us, and we've got 4 games in that period that are all really tough, including Champions League away at Bayern.
That entire run is the one which I've looked at and went, that's a bit dodgy for Arsenal. Because I'm pretty sure you've got Chelsea around that time as well.
Yeah.
So
we got
if
Chelsea.
you make that semi-final, it's a horrendous.
That's why I don't think Arsenal will win the league, guys. To be honest with you, I don't think Arsenal will win the league.
Yeah, playing a title rival at that stage of the Champions League, especially when, I'm not saying it will do, but it could be the thing that saves your season effectively with it being the Champions League if you've suddenly hit a bad run of form or something. The pressure and the energy levels and all that sort of stuff that kicks in then, you don't feel that in any other type of semi-final just because it's domestic. And I feel that City get away with it a little bit because the teams they play around that time, I think they either have Tottenham just before it or just after it. And both of that is a little bit lucky. I think with you, it's slap bang in the middle. So you've got Chelsea, the first leg, Tottenham, the second leg. I think that's where it's gonna kill it. I'm not even saying like Chelsea are just an annoying team. Chelsea are another one of them teams which on their day can nick a result. But away from home, you should have enough at the Emirates.
Yeah, and then there's other ones that worry me as well. Like we play Wolves away, so we go Bayern away, Villa at home. We go Bayern at home, Villa at home, Bayern away, and then Wolves away. And it's the ones where it's like you've had so much build up for those 3 games, and maybe we get past Bayern, and there's like a bit of a relax, and it's like no, but in 2 days' time you're playing Wolves away, and it's whether you can get back up. They're the sort of games where I worry. I think you've got West Ham away, which could be tricky.
West Ham are one of them teams where they're either on it and you hate it, or they just decide, fuck it, what's the point in playing today?
It's going to be a very, very intriguing title race, to be honest. The last part of this, and guys, we're 6 likes away from 400 likes. I'm so greedy. I want to reach 500 likes, but it will do with 400 likes. The like button is underneath your live chat. Let me get this couple of super chats out of the way. Panel's thoughts on Arsenal pursuing... I can't pronounce this guy's name. Gyökeres. Rory actually did videos on these.
A lot of them.
So I've been watching Gyökeres all season.
I'm gonna give you something better, SE. Rory Talks Football is in the description. Tons of videos about him. See, I'm not greedy. So you can watch Rory. He absolutely has tons of videos about Gyökeres, whatever his name is. But thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. And Rory has done a lot of homework about this guy, and he actually provided content.
I feel like this. I feel like this is one of the few players who me and Rory both have a really good viewing on, because I've been watching this team the entire season because I want the manager. Rory's been watching them because he wants the striker.
Rory, can you give the guy a little bit, just a couple of sentences about him?
Yeah, I think he's Arsenal. He should be the one that Arsenal go for. I think his overall gameplay, compared to any other striker we're looking at, who are more out and out finishers, Gyökeres adds a ton to the team. I think the number he got like 12 assists in the league this season or something, and that's what Arsenal need. If you look at the way we've consistently played, whether it's Havertz or Jesus or whoever, that centre forward has to be someone that can link up well. And he's also, I think he needs to learn how to press in the way that Arsenal press. I think he's an aggressive presser, but not maybe like his understanding.
Guys, all this information you can find even more on Rory Talks Football. More.
Also, 25 years old, never been injured, which is impressive.
Rory, he's overperformed his XG so much this year. Like he's someone who is ridiculous. That whoever gets Gyökeres have got themselves a real top striker.
Jack Howe is saying, let's have it right. City, Arsenal have some shame. LFC had most starters out for months, plus handed you a chance to go ahead on silver platter. Embarrassing from both. That's why I said, and Tom said, I think if Liverpool win the title, I think it's an overachievement because the circumstances of Liverpool this season and the Jurgen Klopp and all the stuff. So, Jack, I think you're right. It's not shame on them because Liverpool are still. Listen, if you say shame on them, you're really, really underestimating Jurgen Klopp and Mohamed Salah and Van Dijk and all these guys who are amazing in their positions. But with the injuries and all the stuff, I agree. Cooler is saying Liverpool win every match, and Arsenal will regret dropping 2 points yesterday. Great performance yesterday, but bad result for Arsenal. I think it can be both. It's a good result, but yeah, Arsenal, by the way, I checked Opta, Rory, 18.8 now instead of 18 yesterday before the game.
Well, I don't know what I was looking at then. Either way, it's an improvement. It's an improvement.
But the problem is Liverpool now moved to 43%.
I think there was a graph put on Sky Sports at the end of the Arsenal game that said like we were now the favourites, City drops to second, and then Arsenal stayed there, but they're closing the gap a little bit.
They didn't.
I don't see us winning all 9 games. I'll be honest. If we were to win all 9 games, we'd be out of the Europa League. I don't see us winning every single game to end the season. I don't. We're good, but we're not that good. We've got players coming back from injury who probably won't be there 100%. There's a lot of energy being sapped out, because we haven't had the rotation necessarily. We need these players who are coming back from injury to hit the ground running and drag us through a couple of these games. I don't see us winning all 9, but in the same breath, I don't see either Arsenal or City winning all 9, which should, in theory, give you the gap in time. If we do win all 9, wow. What a fucking achievement, because we should not be in this position at all. And the players that we've had to fall back on, it's impressive. I mean, I said this, I know it's a little bit off topic, but I said this, I want to get both your opinions on it. Who do you think wins Player of the Year? Because I said that whoever wins Player of the Year is down to whichever team wins the title.
I agree.
Do you think there's like one unanimous player, or is it very much so? If Arsenal win, it's Rice. If Liverpool win, it's Van Dijk. If City win, it's Foden or Rodri.
Literally, yeah. I literally, the only one it's potentially not is I think City could win the league and it could still go to maybe Rice.
I
or
was
Van
going to
Dijk,
say
but-
exact same thing, Rory.
Well, there you go.
Wallahi, I was
But
going
yeah.
to say the exact same thing.
There you go. Yeah, I think if Liverpool win, it goes to Van Dijk. If Arsenal win, it goes to Rice.
The thing about it, guys, I think actually Player of the Season is decided in the beginning of April, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, it might be actually.
So
They
it
might have to
actually
make
is
the
in the beginning of
decision before.
April. I actually think
Just remember who scored the win in the Carabao Cup. Everyone voting, yeah. Just remember who scored the win in the Carabao.
Mohamed Salah might be there because as of now, I think he overtook everyone in GA, if I'm not mistaken.
No, Watkins still has more.
Watkins still has more. So Mohamed Salah is out of the competition. I think it's going to be Rodri, Rice, and Van Dijk.
I think Foden gets it.
I actually think Gabriel deserves a shout.
He does, but you've got to bear in mind as well the English bias.
Yeah, I struggle to see Foden not getting the nod for City because everything's been about this is his breakout year. Whether we agree he's been the best player or not, the media narrative is this is his breakout year. He's had big performances against United at home and away, all this sort of stuff. I think for us, Van Dijk has been the best player. I don't think it's before that at all,
Tom. Declan Rice has been way more consistent because Foden plays a little bit higher on the pitch and score goals. Declan Rice has been the most consistent player in the league. And McAllister after the first 3-4 weeks. Both of them have been very consistent.
Yes, but Mo, like we just said, the English bias will be Foden gets the nod ahead of Rodri for City. I think it is between Van Dijk and Rice, personally. Van Dijk, I think Salah definitely would have been in the mix if he didn't have to go to AFCON. And if he'd stayed throughout that time, because he wouldn't have got injured, he would be at record-breaking numbers. He'd be right in that conversation. Van Dijk sort of, I'm going to use the term lucky. It's not the correct term, but he's lucky in the sense that Trent has missed long periods of time. Alisson's missed long periods of time, and Salah's missed long periods of time. He's been the consistent one throughout. He's been very good, don't get me wrong, but he's been the consistent player throughout. I think McAllister, again, would have been there had he not needed the time to get settled in if he'd been played a little bit higher up earlier on.
Let me check. Go ahead. Let me check the actual date because I think that will decide who's going to be nominated.
Mm-hmm. I think that it's an interesting one. It's not like one of them years gone where it was whoever wins it, there's one clear winner. Like the year we won it, everyone knew KDB was winning that one. The year that in 17-18, City got 100 points, but everyone knew Salah was getting it, sort of thing. I don't think this is one of them years. For me, it's between Van Dijk and Rice. I think Rice has been very good this year.
Yeah, I think because the voting is going to happen before, even if City went on to win it, the voting is going to happen before they'll have won it. I don't think it can go to a City player because off the back of last season, you'd expect them to be performing at that level anyway. And I think Rice and Van Dijk have been far more significant in the impact that they've had for their clubs.
It's whatever storyline they want to go with. Do they want to go with Declan Rice really stepping up as he makes his big move, or do you want to go for Van Dijk returning to form, showing that he still got it, and that last season was just a blip, this, that, and the other. It's all about storylines with this sort of stuff. So you never know who's going to get it. I just think it's an interesting one because,
Definitely,
like I said, this is one of the tighter ones in years gone by because all three teams have done very well.
100%. Ben is saying, Mo, Spurs decide the title race, in my opinion. So why not Arsenal and Liverpool win all 9 games to win the title? Spurs away for them is hard. United away is hard. So that's why I think they don't win all the games. I actually think that Spurs might not win against Brighton. And Man City might not win against Brighton as well. And I believe that Liverpool, they go to Aston Villa away, if I'm not mistaken. They might not win that.
Yeah, we've got some tough away ones. Every team's got tough games. It's not like no one on this panel has said everyone's going to win all 9 games. It's just not going to happen because I don't think the only teams that I've seen do that are us and City in years gone by, and both of our teams are not as good as those versions.
Yeah,
and I don't think Arsenal's team is as good as those versions.
Yeah, I just looked in the space of 6 days. You play Fulham away, Everton away, West Ham away. I think that's a bit tricky. Then you play Spurs at home and then Villa away.
Because as well,
these 5 games, I said this is absolutely horrendous. They play 3 away games and then they play Spurs at home, if I'm not mistaken, and then they play, away. And then they go away to somebody.
Because you've got to factor in Atalanta as well. So we've
Atalanta before that.
Yeah, so in that run that Rory was on about, we've got a couple home games. Then we've got Atalanta at home, someone else at home. I can't remember.
Palace
and then you've got Palace at home, Atalanta away, Fulham away, Everton away, and West Ham away. I 4 away games in 10 days.
But Arsenal's squad now, if you look at it, they have everybody fit, so they have depth now.
Yeah,
Thomas Partey's back, Jesus is back, Martinelli is gonna be back. You know what I mean, fully. Trossard is a fit. Kivior is back. Zinchenko's back. Tomiyasu's back. That's depth. People don't talk about that. The only place they don't have depth in is center backs because Timber is injured, which is ridiculous, to be honest. Our team, I thought that you should have signed another center back. You need 4 center backs, not 3.
But you say that, but then when Timber comes back, we probably have to drop another defender out of the squad. Like, it's really only Saliba's spot that's a problem because Kivior could, not to the level, but Kivior can replace Gabriel for a game like Luton.
Yeah. Okay. Cooler is saying Rice has been the best player so far. He's been the most consistent player. Absolutely. Last question to Rory before I have to end up. Someone from work, guys. Someone just scheduled a meeting for me in 4 minutes from work. But this is why this has to turn into a full-time job within the next 2 weeks somehow. Saliba yesterday, a lot of praise from Babs, who, guys, I just want to tell you, Babs is going to be here tomorrow, Babs and Joe, and we might have 2 other people. I'm going to try to get some other people. Babs is to replace Rory on Tuesday. Might not be permanent, but I like Rory on this panel. We'll see how it goes. But Saliba yesterday, I didn't like the game from him. I like Gabriel more. I thought he was very nervous on the ball. That's my take on him. I thought he was dribbling to the wrong areas in the wrong places. I thought he was kind of nervous on the ball. Off the ball, he was all right, not the worst, but I thought on the ball he could have done more. Do you agree?
I wouldn't be that. I don't think he was that bad. I think there were elements where he was a little bit, on the ball, maybe nervous. But I have to credit the City press, which is the best press, arguably, in the league. But I do think you're definitely right that Gabriel had a better game than Saliba. And again, I think just Saliba is aesthetically more pleasing, so he gets the plaudits, and they pull up the stats of first for this and first for this and first for this. The reason that we kept City out was more about Gabriel bullying Haaland than it was about Saliba sweeping up, in my opinion.
The pair of them complement each other. They're a great centre-back pairing because they complement each other. So
Finish.
If Van Dijk
what's the
next to
lever lack?
Gabriel, this might be if Van Dijk next to Gabriel this season, this might have been the best partnership probably. But anyway,
To be, I actually don't think Van Dijk and Gabriel would have been the better partnership. I think Gabriel needs someone who does the cover, who does sort of what Saliba does.
Just pure speed.
Van Dijk for me, and it's because I think Van Dijk is the right mix of Saliba and Gabriel. Van Dijk has Saliba's passing and confidence on the ball, but he also has the physicality and the stature and everything of Gabriel. Saliba and Gabriel make that up together. The issue with us is we would have a better centre-back pairing if Konate could stay fit for longer periods of time. Because I think Van Dijk and Konate has more than Saliba and Gabriel. It's just Saliba and Gabriel complement each other so well. I think Konate's injury prone, and then he goes out wide to cover Trent and that. You don't really get to see them together as a partnership.
I know I wish this has stayed longer, but listen, 126 minutes is enough. I don't want to keep these guys for long, even though I took them, I kept them for long. Appreciate everyone that tuned in. Appreciate all the super chatters that support the channel and keep us going. Almost 900 people tuned into the show live here. Absolutely brilliant, guys. You guys are legends in the chat. Over 400 likes. Great super chats. Great getting involved in the conversation. Nobbins, Rory, and Tom. Absolute brilliant guys. Their channels are in the description. Tom now is doing more content on his channel now. So you got to go and subscribe. Nobbins as well. We send them off. And Rory Talks Football. Daily shows, of course, with Rory. So you guys have to subscribe to these guys. By the way, it's so simple for you to subscribe to their show. They're just one click away. You don't have to search or anything. They are in the description and their handles are there. So you just click. It will take you to the channel. So you can open in a new tab, subscribe if you aren't, and then maybe you come back, you do something. Stay here. Don't go anywhere. This will take you to Jamie Phillips, right, where he talks about Liverpool. Appreciate everyone that is here. Thank you for my panelists, my super chatters, everybody that watch it. Appreciate you guys, and we are out of here, people.